And when I left there to be one of the managers at the other house, I kind of took that same philosophy with me there. And I would take the guys, especially if they didn't have vehicles, because they would, again, love to go to other meetings. And it was fun. And it became very routine. Unfortunately now with COVID, that's kind of gone away.
Yeah.
People can still have their routine with Zoom. It is what you make it. Call up your buddies from the meetings that you used to go to. That's what I would recommend. And you can host a free Zoom meeting for 30 minutes, That way, at least you know the people and you don't feel like, oh, I don't know these people. But if you want to check it out, go to Ireland. Mm-hmm. Hit up Zoom in Ireland, have a meeting there. There's plenty of options that you can do to make it okay and make it fun and interesting. But soon, though, it'll all open back up again and we'll be able to get back on track and just to get that steady flow of consistency and hitting those meetings again, I think are really huge for people. I don't work the steps. I've said that many times. I did before, but I love going to meetings, man. It's like a free therapy session. You can get it out and you can listen to other people. And I wish I was going to meetings now because, I have the 2 years under my belt. And to see the new guys come in, and go, oh, okay. Yep, remember that? Of course, working in the field too, I get to see that quite frequently. So I'm always kind of constantly reminded of where I'll be if one drink decides to jump in my hand. But I'm choosing not to do that today. And the life that I actually am choosing and living is just so much better than I could have ever imagined. Mm-hmm. Even a year ago, when I was like, yeah, man, this is so great. A year ago, I was kind of telling the same story, but I had no idea how good it was going to get. And I just can't wait to see what tomorrow brings.
Mm-hmm.
Like a year from now, I'm going to be like, oh my God. And I mean, I knew I wanted that stuff to happen, but I didn't know it was going to happen like that so quick. And oh my God, this is amazing. So just keep plugging away, man. And I had a message from a guy today that was like, yeah, man, I'm going to have to go back to treatment. And I was like, okay, dust off your knees, get back up. Let's go. It's addiction, bro. It's hard. It's not easy,
mm-hmm.
but learn from your mistakes. I was told to look back, and when I had my longest period of sobriety, what was I doing? I was going to church. I was going to meetings. I was doing things that were keeping me from drinking. And then I stopped going to church, stopped taking my medication for depression. I stopped doing a lot of things. So the first thing I wanted to do was, okay, when I had that long stretch, I want to start doing the things that I was doing then. And I was actually on a medication called Zoloft. And that's one that you can quit. And I was on a very low dose. I said, okay, we'll put me on that. And then after a year, I told myself, I'm going to get off of it. And I told the doctor that too, which is very important. Don't just stop taking it.
Mm-hmm.
Wean off of it. I was getting brain zaps, which does not sound fun. I know it didn't hurt, but it was just like a little, you're like, what the hell is that? But it was part of your brain that was like starting to kind of work again.
Mm-hmm.
And it happened when I would get road rage. So it's quite frequently.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so just work with your doctor on that and don't just stop taking medication. Because that's not good. No bueno.
No.
But, yeah, just excited, happy. And not everybody wants to work in treatment, at a treatment center. I didn't really want to work at a treatment center. It just kind of happened.
Right.
And met some really cool people there. And I feel like there was a reason I worked there. And then even when that ended, I didn't want it anymore. I didn't want to work there anymore. It was getting to me, and it was really messing with my sobriety. The place that I had worked for, it just wasn't for me. So we kind of came to that conclusion together to send some nice emails. And it was just like, all right, man, let's part ways. But I had never felt so free You know, I remember driving home, just a big smile on my face going, oh, thank you, Lord. Like, that was amazing. You know, I didn't have that, I've worked at jobs, obviously. I'd just be like, I don't want to go in there. It's just, and so many times I would use that to drink. You know, this isn't what I want in life. Life sucks. So I'm a drunk. Of course, I wouldn't say that to myself like that, but that's what it would lead to. But this one, it was different. You know, I had a chance to man up. I had showed up for all my shifts and just said, hey, look, this isn't really working. And so we went our separate ways, and then we moved to Traverse City. Again, treatment center was calling. Well, actually, I called them. I was begging them, please let me work here. And that was cool. That was cool, too. I met a lot of great people, and we started 217 recovery rides through them pretty much, you know, working with them. And they're the ones that kind of put it all together for us. So, you know, I thank them for huge amounts of help that they've given me and in 217 recovery. You know, without their support, we wouldn't be here doing this, you know, as far as the ride thing goes. And I think that's something that's so important. And I wrote a letter to my mom's governor today.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, Gretchen Whitmer. And I just kind of explained to her, like, look, because 217 recovery is in a weird spot. We're a new business, pretty new 501c3. We got that in May, but it goes retro back to the May of 2019. But we couldn't really fundraise and stuff like that. So our fundraising wasn't really an option. You know, we had some things set up we were going to do. We can't do nothing, COVID, you know, and it just kind of really hurt us as far as, you know, the financial part that we want to, you know, just help people. If we get a call, we want to go take them. And I've done that, you know, out of my own pocket.
Yeah.
And now it kind of comes out of 217 Recovery's pocket, which is better than mine. But there's still a lot of things that come out of my pocket. And, you know, all these COVID relief, and they had the Restart grant back in October, and we didn't get that, you know, and a bunch of other companies that, in my personal opinion, as a professional radio broadcaster, not sure that those people, I mean, I'm sure they needed it, but when you're talking about life or death, and if I could have helped 4 or 5 people get to treatment and maybe they died, and if they just would have had a ride, they could have gotten to treatment, you know, we could have easily been there for them. And I take it very personal, and that's where I have to be very careful because, you know, I'm writing letters to governors, you know, saying, look, this is our deal. This is what we do. I have to tone it down because I have to realize that not everybody is as passionate as I am, and I might just come off as
I totally know what you're talking about.
An a-hole, or I don't want to say crazy, but no, it's frustrating and hard for me that other people don't understand and don't see it. So I try to put it in the best words that I can, and I kind of explained that to her. You know, this is what we do, and we don't have access to those grants. And that there's another round of them today. They're like, oh, you can apply for $15,000, you know, in COVID relief for businesses, small businesses, but we can't. All the qualifications, we don't meet them. You know, we're not a casino, we're not a movie theater, we're not a restaurant. We got nothing. You know, so it's like, okay, we can't help at all.
Yeah.
Thanks. Again, now we could have been helped where like the nail salons that were getting the money, this Restart grant from before. Like the nail salons, yeah, they could do that. They could, but they can't apply for this one now because they got the other one. So it's like somebody really dropped the ball on this, and that's what I was kind of explaining to her without like trying to point fingers, but I did point a finger, but that's fine. The finger I pointed at was the person that really needed it. So
yeah,
he's the person that told me, well, you know, and he gave me some stupid answer that didn't even make any sense about why we were disregarded, you know, as the company that would get the grant. And it was frustrating, but I found his old email and I copied exactly what he said in it, and I put that in the letter to the governor as well, saying, look, now if that would have been divvied up right by the right people, you know, maybe things can happen. But like all these other places that got the other grant, now they can't even apply for this grant. And this grant is more base for them and it's not this new one that's today. It's not even for nonprofits, so it's like, I don't know. It's a shame.
Yeah.
There's a lot of loopholes and a lot of like, hey, my buddy lives over there, works for those so and that's kind of what it seemed to me. And I could be totally wrong, but that's just my feelings, my personal feelings. Mm-hmm. But again, I take it very personal. And when people are out there dying because they can't get a right of treatment, it makes me sick.
Yeah. And
when people are sent home on a bus and they get high at the bus stop, it's not their fault. This is we get it. You and I get it, Marty. I'm just preaching to the choir now.
Right.
But those people that don't understand it, okay, put someone else in charge that does.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Well, don't worry about it. Don't be offended. Like I don't know how to flip burgers. I'm not going to be in charge of Burger King's new press burger line thing or whatever they are, because I don't know what I'm doing. So, but I have an education. Okay, cool. But I don't know what I'm doing. Like why wouldn't put somebody in that position? But that's kind of what's going on around, I would say, the country. Mm-hmm. At some of these places that are supposed to handle the money. Treatment centers, even, some treatment centers, people are in charge that are businessmen. Know nothing about recovery. All they're there is to, get the bottom line and let's make some profits, which, hey, I get it. It's a business. You want to make profits. But damn it, you can do that by helping people too. Mm-hmm. And that's what the money's there for.
And you have to hold up the integrity of what it is that your business is.
Mm-hmm. Can't just hold a meeting in front of all your employees and say, I don't want to be the best treatment center in Michigan. I want to be the biggest.
Yeah. It's not how that works.
No. Because I'll quit. Because I won't be happy working there. Anyway, that's just kind of where I'm at today. So in a year from now, I don't know.
I don't even know.
Writing letters to the president. Call up Trump's, get Russia's number.
Well, that's the other thing that's different about is just being excited about the future. Mm-hmm. You get that when you're in recovery, and I mean, even just like 2 years is a long time, but 2 years is not that long of a time. You know what I mean? It's weird. Same thing I feel. It's like one time I'll sit there and I'm thinking to myself, like, it feels like I've been sober for a while. But then I look back and I'm like, no, this is just the other, So it's crazy. So just being excited about the future, because you're like, look what I've done in this amount of time. Look what my life can be. And how much more there is left to be revealed. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm. When I was on that lunch call with Deb Garrett from FAN, she was doing the web series, or not web series. It was like a Zoom luncheon meeting where she invites different people in the field. And we were on our way to court that day to see a friend or to support a friend. And that's why I had to do the meeting from the car on the way there. Mm-hmm. And Deb's like, oh, and, Corey Winfield, 217 recovery, and, here's what he's done, and, man, he's done all this, in just such a short period of time. And I start, thinking about it, and I was like, damn, I kind of have. But, yeah, I feel like there's so much more work to do, and there's so much more that we want to do, that it's just like, if it's a flight of stairs, there might be 100 stairs, and I feel like I'm at the second one, mm-hmm. But in reality, I don't know where I'm at, but I've done some cool things, and it's just by a little bit every day.
Yeah.
Which was the saying, just a little bit better today than yesterday. It was the saying that was on the radio station. We had like a big window in Benton Harbor at WIRX, and you could see out into the newsroom, but above that, it said just a little bit better today than yesterday. And I always tried that, and even in radio, I thought, I screwed that break up, or, I was talking about this, and, I totally said the wrong phone number, but, tomorrow, I'll do just a little bit better than I did today. And you add those days up after a year,
see where you're at.
Goes forward with it.